I don't hear anything. I can't hear you. I don't know why his sound's not working. I have the volume up. I'm not.
Like, can you hear me
Oh, there we go. I can hear you now.
now? Yeah, no, which is my thing.
Okay.
Okay, so um,
Show off Lucifer and his ducks a little bit.
yeah. Okay, okay. All right. So let me do a YouTube intro um for the video eventually. Hello everyone. Today we're doing a special live uh, where we're going to be talking about what healthy relationships look like by talking about all of the relationships that we have seen in Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel. And today, to help us out, we have Dr. Ben to help us.
Hello.
You wanna like introduce yourself a little bit better than that, and also show off your shirt.
Take that, depression. This is what we're doing. We're showing depression that we don't need it. Yes. Hi. My name is Dr. Benjamin Teitz. I am a member of the board of directors of Psychology for Geeks as of this, what, it was like a month ago.
Yeah.
So recently inducted member of the board. I'm very happy to be here. Hellva Boss and Hazbin Hotel are just like two of my new like favoritist shows. Especially like, I mean, okay, I love them both, but I got into Hazbin first, and so like Hazbin always has a little bit extra for me, because I work in clinical and forensic psychology, and
Mm,
area that I would like to do more in, and I did in a previous job, was I was working with people. I was working with offenders. I was working with sinners, like in the Hazbin Hotel, and that's actually how I got into the show. Was two friends of mine within an hour of each other texted me and basically said in no uncertain terms, "You have no choice in the matter. You have to watch this show." Because it is literally about you. So, according to my friends, I am.
Uh, it's hard to decide because there's different things I like about each show of the shows, but I think I will say I think I'm a little bit more partial to Hell of a Boss because that's the one I started watching first. As well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
love the show, but when you the one that you started with, and you always have a little bit of a special place for that one.
Well, but you okay? So I'm a I love all those like romantic comedies and like um yeah, just like in anything in anime, in manhwa, um TV movies and stuff. So I think that's why Hell of a Boss is sort of like the one that
Yeah,
calls to me a little bit more.
yeah. They
I
definitely.
love. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, definitely have a boss focuses a little bit more on the relationships than has been. Um, has been does talk about relationships definitely, but like they're not like front and center as much as it is in Hell of a Boss.
True, true. Um, so so to start with a controversial topic, which one is we'll go three questions. Which one's your favorite? Which one's the best relationship? And which one do you think it's the worst relationship in both shows?
Okay, so I mean, I was already like thinking about that because I was like, okay, what's the best? What's the worst? But then I was also going to add I'll add another question for you. Then is
Okay.
which do you think has the most potential? Um,
Oh, okay, okay.
oh, okay, so my favorite relationship between the two shows is, I think probably will be very, very close tie between Charlie and Vaggie and Moxie and Millie. I think Moxie and Millie will take it more for the to answer the question of which is the best relationship. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely feel like Moxie and Millie are like relationship goals. At least they are for me. Um, so like, but which one is my favorite? Again, like I lean more towards like Charlie and Vaggie just because I started with them. Um, However, I don't know if they would actually be considered the best. They are good. They are a good relationship, and they have things going for them. But I think compared to Moxie and Millie definitely would be like the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the worst, uh, hmm, I mean, obviously, like Valentino and Angel Dust, horrible, 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 toxic, abusive relationship. So that's like definitely down in the pooper. Um, and then I will, I will probably get a lot of grief from my friend who introduced me to Hellva about this, but uh, Blitz and Stolas are not a good relationship.
They
Um,
are the worst.
they're really not that great. They have I mean, at the very like the most recent like season, the most recent episode, like you can kind of see a slight glimmer of possibility there. However, I don't think that they have done enough thinking about like what does it mean to be in a relationship. Neither of them have that understanding that they have their own ideas of what relationships mean.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to like work with another person.
They
However,
both
definitely,
need
I mean,
they both need years of therapy before the relationship can be
yeah,
uh, good and healthy and stable.
they need help. But basically, the worst is obviously Valentino and Angel Dust because I mean I'm not going to say that Stolas and Blitz are worse than a horribly toxic abusive relationship, though they are toxic. They are definitely toxic in different ways. It's just not abusive and controlling um, in the way that Valentino and Angel Dust are. Um,
Well, for that one relationship, I will say it's more of a one-sided thing, and Angel Dust is sort of like forced to be there. They don't want to be there.
he doesn't want to be there anymore, but he did at first. And that's kind of how unfortunately these things happen is you start off thinking it's great and
Hmm.
then it gets horrible and then you don't know a way out. While yes, he had the whole like he was magically chained to Valentino in abusive, domestic violence relationships, it can feel that way. It can feel like
Hmm.
you're to the person that you have no way out, because that's the nature of that abusive dynamic. That your avenues for freedom are very limited, and oftentimes you find it difficult to even conceptualize what that would look like. So I think like Angel Dust he maybe at the beginning we don't know for sure. I don't think they've ever really said what he wanted at first, but he probably thought that like it was good at first, but then it got really bad. And but he also like you see this a lot with victims of abuse is that they think they deserve it. They think that this is what they know, and there's so they're just going to deal with it. And we definitely see that with Angel Dust. Like he's like, this is this is my life. Like this is just what it's going to be. He can't see the way out.
I think that's why Charlie had such a hard time sort of like reaching them because of that sort of like mentality. Because he became sort of like friends with, I forgot the bartender guy. What's his name?
Husk. Husk. Oh, he's my
Yeah,
favorite.
with him because Husk was like, yeah, like you like your life sucks and you're making horrible decisions, but like I understand where you're coming from. Like
Yeah,
I can see why you're sort of like still staying there and like not really asking for help and doing all these things. And I think at this point that's what Angel does needed, I think,
yo,
the most. That sort of like validation of like, yeah, it sucks, but you also have the strength to be able to like overcome once you're ready.
absolutely. I mean, when I first saw that episode, um, and I like heard that song "Loser Like Me," I was like,
Yeah.
that's basically what group therapy
Mhm.
times. You're in the whole way that group therapy works is with people who have similar, if not identical, experiences, and that validation of just saying, yes, it sucks, and I'm not judging you because mine also sucks.
Mhm.
And so definitely Angel Dust needed that validation there. I've seen like after Hazbin Hotel like finished,
Mhm.
there's been a lot of people that will like ship Husk and Angel Dust. um I don't know if I would ship them, though I can see why a lot of people do, because Husk offers like the potential for a better relationship for Angel Dust. However, like I don't think Husk is himself ready for relationships. He's okay to help another person out,
Mhm.
but he's not helping himself yet. Um, but I can see why a lot of people want them to be together, and I would totally be down for that if season two they were together. Um, but like that has some potential, kind of.
I don't know. Well,
It's hard because
it's not my ship.
it's like definitely if you think of Husk as the therapist of the hotel, because he was oftentimes more the therapist than Charlie was, then definitely not a good healthy relationship dynamic for them to go into, because therapists should not go into relationships with their clients. However, uh, if we go under the assumption that he was not the therapist, he was just the bartender, who was, there because he also like needed help. Uh,
Mhm.
then like okay, potential. Um, so I don't know actually how I view Husk. I just love Husk's character, and that song was amazing.
The song was nice, yeah. Well, all of the songs were great. I think one of the things that I really like about Husband Hotel is just the visuals of everything. They're so cool. Like when because like the whole time you see Charlie just be like nice and kind and just sort of like Charlie, but then when she turns into like her
Demon mode.
demon slash angel self, like she's so cool. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also Lucifer.
Oh, Lucifer's best relationship is with his rubber ducks, and there's nothing wrong with that relationship with rubber ducks.
I am so curious though as to know like what happened, because we were left with a lot of questions, right? After wait a minute. Season 3 hasn't happened, right?
Of
Am
Hasbin,
I just
hasn't even had season two yet.
I thought he went on seasons 2.
Has been only had season one so far.
What the
Hellva Boss had two seasons.
Are there more episodes now for Hell of a Boss? Cuz because I feel like I follow the YouTube page and I seen a couple of things, but I don't know if they are actually just sort of like little videos or like are actual episodes.
Yes. There's both. There was like I think the most recent new episode was the like around the holiday time, when they were celebrating Sinmas, um, and that was like when you saw a glimpse of the potential of the relationship between Stolas and Blitz. Um, but I don't think there were any formal episodes after that. There were some like short things after that, but they all kind of that's the thing is those shorts they may not be full episodes, but they definitely like add to the the overall story.
Mm,
There's a lot
yeah.
there's a lot more content with Hell the Boss than has been currently because Hell the Boss has like 2 seasons plus all those shorts. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I think also it's just because it's formatted, it's on YouTube, like they can get it much more. Whereas Hasbin is trying to like stick to the whole like, okay, we're on an actual show, these episodes in the season, on Amazon Prime and everything. So it's different in that regard. But there's, I mean, they did say that they renewed, like season two will. Ooh, when is season two coming out? I don't know. But they were renewed for season two for Hasbin. I think actually they were renewed. They were renewed even to season three, but season two has finished. They finished like putting it together, and but it hasn't been released yet. I don't think.
Um, it's fall 2025 or early 2026 for season two has been.
Okay. Hopefully
Okay.
fall 2025 because I want it sooner.
Yes, same. I mean, yes. Okay. So for that one, like there's so many things that we got left over. Like I don't know, like the radio man, I like portable. I should just have like all of the cast member names because I don't remember anybody's names.
Alistair. Alistair. The
Yeah,
radio.
yeah, yeah. Like what happened to him? All right. Like
Oh,
what was the deal? Like there's something shady going on there. How powerful is he? Is he gonna eat Charlie? Like
I don't think he's going to eat Charlie, but he was definitely trying to groom her
for what?
for evil.
For eating her. Well, isn't that how he gains power though? By like taking over like the other person?
I mean, they sell their soul to him, so he makes contracts with them. That's what you do.
Mm.
Cannibals are the ones eating people. Rosie, eats people.
But she's so cute though.
Exactly. Uh,
I,
most,
I
most
think
sharks
this
they're probably cannibals.
I said this at the panel that we did for this. The reason why I had to watch this show. So thank you so much for for doing this because otherwise I wouldn't have even known anything about these shows. But I was like, I would like to think of myself as wait a minute. Who's Rosie?
She's like the
Oh yeah, no, that's not who I was thinking of.
she's a cannibal like lady, right? That's her name. Now I'm
Oh
doing this to me.
wait,
It's
is it?
making me doubt myself.
No, yeah. Yeah, her name is Rosie. No, not her. Who's
No,
the dang it, where do I find the I need
no.
their pictures, not just their names. Nifty.
Oh, nifty.
Yeah, I feel like I will see myself as Nifty, but in reality, I'm actually wait, what's his face? Serpentious. Like just like everything goes wrong with him. He's like not really qualified, not actually evil.
Oh, poor Serpentius. He was really trying his best. He just wanted people to like him.
I
Uh,
know.
I think he he did his evil deeds because he wanted people to like acknowledge him. It's like um because like when you're like neglected or whatever, like negative attention is still attention.
Hmm.
And so I think that's definitely like Serpentius. But Nifty, she just wants to stab.
Yeah, but she's so chaotic and fun, and I'm like, that's how I want to be. But I'm not.
Yeah. No, I definitely like my friends were like saying that I'm very much like Charlie. Um, but I think I'm also like I think I'm more of a mix of Charlie and Serpentius. Um, and Charlie and Serpentius are actually very similar. They both like
Hmm.
want like they're very desperate for like things to go well, but for different reasons. Like Serpentius wants it for him, like he wants that self validation, whereas
Hmm.
Charlie is like she has a lot of like external, like she wants an external validation of like if I can do this, then I can like prove myself to heaven and to my dad, and probably some mommy issues there too.
That that is, I'm so interesting to know. I was like, what happened? Like, how did the divorce come about? What, like, because everybody seems to be like so afraid of like the mom, and I'm like, why?
And
Like, is
then
she like
and
stronger?
they show her just like in paradise. Like, was she in heaven? Like that's what it made me think, that she was in heaven. Like, why was she in heaven?
I thought
Well,
she was like in a different sort of plane of existence that was in heaven or hell. Like, I
yeah,
was just like her own villa or something.
it wasn't like clear where she was, but like some people have like thought that it was heaven because it's considered paradise, right? Like
Mm.
whatever, but it didn't look like heaven as we've seen it. Um, but like, yeah, definitely we want to know what happened, because she was there and not in hell with her family, and she has some kind of arrangement um, with Lute, the exorcist angel. So clearly, some shady business going down there. Um, so, but like when we talk about relationships, obviously, like, okay, today's Valentine's Day, so we're going to talk more about like the intimate partner relationships.
Mm.
But I think family relationships is still something we can talk about here. Is
Mhm.
the inconsistent relationship with between Charlie and her parents. Um, we don't know much about Charlie's like childhood. We saw like some clips of it like in the beginning, and then like when she was like talking about like her issue with her dad, like her mom took her away from her dad because her
Mhm.
dad was just like really struggling with depression. Um, but I wanted to know like how long was that going on for? Like, because at the first episode of Hazbin, where she gets a call from her dad asking her to like take his place at the meeting, she was so eager to like talk to him and like do this thing for him, which makes me think that it had been a while since they had spoken. Um, but I don't know exactly how long.
But also, like, I don't quite remember either, but did she even talk about her mom at all?
Very, very like limited. Like I think she like Vaggie asked if you like, have you heard from your mom? And she's like, no, not for like a while. Um,
And that was it. Like, that was like the whole extent of it. Like,
yeah,
that
so
makes me think that they don't have a good relationship.
no, something happened because like
Mhm.
there was definitely something there. But we see that I think it's a really good thing to look at Charlie's situations, because oftentimes people find themselves in intimate partner relationship patterns that will mimic what they've seen growing up, meaning what they saw with their parents or
Mhm.
whatever guardians they had. But Charlie doesn't. Charlie's relationship with Vaggie is very good. Maybe a little one sided to some degrees, because Vaggie was hiding the secret and Charlie's energy is just a lot. And so Vaggie kind of goes along with it. Um, but Charlie, I think, values that relationship so strongly, and tries to keep it going as strongly as she can, because she saw what didn't work out with her parents, I think. Um, so that's an interesting like thing to think about, is that we don't know what Lucifer and Lilith's marriage was like. We can guess that it did not end well, but we don't know what was going on while they were together. Uh,
Mhm.
and so, granted, also there's the whole thing is that Lucifer stole Lilith from Adam. So it's like, how much did Lilith actually like Lucifer, or was he just like better than Adam? Which, considering how they showed Adam, not much of a competition there. Um,
Yeah.
so it's like we don't know what was the dynamic between them. However, we can see that Charlie, for however she witnessed their marriage,
Mhm.
knows that for a healthy relationship, you guys need to share these things together. You need to talk about these things. And she recognizes at times that she can be a little over much. Like over much is not a word. She can be a little like over enthusiastic. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that she sometimes like overpowers Vaggie sometimes with that energy, but she makes efforts to like include Vaggie and give Vaggie more power and space.
And also, she has a very rosy view of the world. She wants to believe in it,
Yeah,
and sometimes she just ignores facts, and she's like kind of nosy, getting other people's business, right? Which is it is her trying to help, but that's not the type of help that her friends needed at that time,
yeah.
right? So
I mean,
there's a lot of
she's very sheltered. I mean, she grew up there in that hotel building before it was a hotel. Like that was her home growing up. That was basically Lucifer's castle, um, and like she never really interacted with other sinners or other demons that much. So she was very sheltered. And I think Lucifer tried to like show her like, okay, there's possibility for light and beauty, even in
mhm.
the things, though. So because we know that Lucifer like was struggling hard with depression, otherwise why else would you invent fire breathing rubber ducks? Um,
Because they're
but
cool.
cool, yeah, that's pretty great. But I think because he knew that he could not see the light, he was kind of overthinking. He wanted her to always be able to see the light. That's I'm choosing to believe that's my headcanon. Um, and she, in her sheltered kind of life, she chose, okay, I'm gonna like always hope for the best. And she definitely is very naive in not only just the reality of the world around her, but also in relationships. Um, she didn't see at first like how much she was like she wasn't paying attention to Vaggie as much in the beginning because she was so focused on like, but I want to do this and I can do this and this is a great thing. And like she had her whole song. Like literally the first episode, the first song, I can do this. Somehow I know it. Right? And Vaggie's like, chill down, like calm down. You're getting really excited. That's great, but please think about this carefully. And she completely ignored Vaggie because she was caught up in her idea of what things can be. Um,
And I
and so
think the one thing that makes their relationship a relatively stable one is that they were both able to eventually talk about it, right? So Baggy was able to eventually get through to Charlie and be like, hey, okay, listen, you got to be more realistic sometimes about these things. And then Vaggie was able to talk about, hey, by the way, I happen to have been an angel before, and I
but
just never told you.
that's the thing is Baggy did not choose to disclose that. She was basically forcibly outed. Um,
Yeah. Well,
and
but they
they were
they
able to
talked
overcome.
about it.
Yeah, they were able to overcome it afterwards, which is great. And that is, I think, what something we should focus on is that like sometimes in relationships people hide things for a variety of reasons. Um, the number one reason why people will do that is that fear of vulnerability, that fear of rejection, right? Vulnerability, to be open with someone, to be wholehearted with someone, means that you're taking the chance that they're going to reject you
Hmm.
because the possibility of connection is that important to you. So, Vaggie, though, for a big portion of the show, she was so afraid of that rejection because, I mean, Charlie was brought up with this whole like, okay, heaven kills my people every year, and Vaggie was one of those people killing her people.
Hmm.
And so Vaggie was very scared of that rejection. However, when it was forced out into the open, so definitely not recommending forcible outing for anything. Um, don't throw people under the bus like that. Not a good idea. However, the strength of Vaggie and Charlie's relationship is that even when they were upset, they were still able to find a way to talk about it and move past it. And that I think is really important. Is that yes, they were upset and they were able to see the other person's perspective.
Am I making this up, or did Charlie at one point kind of told Maggie like, I need some time to think about it, but then they eventually did talk about it because she needed time to process.
She definitely
Uh,
needed to process. I don't know if she actually said those words. I think it was just kind of like how it happens, like when you have a fight with your partners, that like you
yeah,
just
like we'll talk about it later. But
yeah
but usually when you have a fight with someone, it's the we'll talk about it later, but then later never comes
yeah
until there's another fight and then it gets brought up again.
yeah
Yeah.
absolutely.
The opposite of that, it would be Blitzo and Stolas, where
Oh
they're like so close to talking about their issues and then they don't.
well, first of all, the O is silent, so it's Blitz. So but also the thing is, no, they weren't that close to talking about it. Um,
Yes, they were. I just do believe that.
you just believe that.
There were times where like Stolas was like, uh-huh, and
But
then the
that's
conversation changed.
was because think about the dynamic that they had. Uh, Stolas and Blitz met. Where basically Blitz was sold to Stolas's family to be like a
Yeah.
servant, and then later on, Stolas and Blitz had that like contract where basically it's okay, sex for Grimoire, and that kind of stuff. Uh, so while Stolas definitely wanted to have a conversation and was maybe trying to like get Blitz to like see that, he didn't do it in a very good, healthy way because he didn't take into consideration that their relationship was contractual.
Yeah.
And Blitz, who avoids intimacy like the plague,
Yeah.
uh, did not know how to handle that. And Solus just dropped it. Like he just dropped that bomb on Blitz. Like, hey, I love you. I don't want you to have to be with me because of this grimoire and everything. So you can just be free, but
Mm-hmm.
please be with me. He gave Blitz no time to process that, to even consider what was going on. So far as Blitz knew, this every time that Solus was trying to be like romantic or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Blitz only ever saw that as part of the act.
Yeah.
Uh, and though, yes, we see that Blitz at various different times was drawn to Stolas. He would go and save Stolas and protect him and everything, even beyond the scope of their arrangement. Uh, he justified it to himself as, well, this is just keeping me in business, basically. He refused to accept those feelings. So, like, oh, it's gonna be tough.
Again, reason why they need so much therapy individually, not even together. That would be later.
Yes, absolutely. In this kind of situation, and I think with a lot of kind of couple things, is they need the individual work first before we can even begin to like bring them together in a couples session. And I don't do couples therapy. I'm not a couples counselor. I don't do marriage therapy. I don't do family therapy. I because there's a lot there, and you really need to, as a therapist, to be able to manage those dynamics and the energies. Is something I never really wanted to get into,
Mm.
um, and also I never sought out training in that. So, like, just a quick thing here. I'm not a couples therapist. I don't, I would not be helping them as a couple. If I were to work with them individually, that'd be a very different story. But like we would go under the assumption that like, okay, I'm working with you individually, and the other person is hopefully seeing someone else. Because
Mm-hmm.
I do that like right now. Like I have clients that like I'm seeing them individually, and we talk about their relationship, and we talk about how they are engaging with their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I just go into the assumption because I don't know, and it's not part of my business whether or not the other partner is also doing something. My focus is on you and how are you engaging with this relationship. I think I would I don't know who I would rather see individually, Stolas or Blitz, um, because they would be different for both of them. However, both would need a lot of challenging, like
But Stolas is
challenging
so
their
cool.
cognitions. You know, okay, you can take Stolas, and I would challenge the shit out of Blitz.
Yes, there you go.
Uh,
Perfect.
but like,
Okay, I think one of the things that up for me when I think about the relationship, because that they are my favorite sort of like couple,
yeah,
except I acknowledge that the relationship is so bad and toxic for them
yeah,
and everyone involved. um you kind of also asked me like what which one relationship do I think has the best potential,
yeah, yeah.
and I think it's their relationship after like years of therapy, and just having like the basic understanding on like how to communicate and
Mhm.
what being in a relation like a romantic relationship is like, because those are things that we don't actually get taught. And earlier you mentioned that Charlie noticed like the might have, you
Mm,
know,
I'm
gone
hoping.
like opposite from what, her parents, or she saw her parents,
Yeah,
which made her relationship a little bit more stable and healthier,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
But I think that has a lot to do with her personality as well. um like wanting to see sort of like the bright side and not being exposed to all kinds
yeah,
of other trauma, because both Stolas and Blitz both had so much happen to them individually that just complicated everything for them. So
yeah.
like the basics of communicating or having friends is
It's
almost
very,
non-existent for them.
yeah. Well, I mean, we don't know Vaggy's life as an angel before. We know that she was an exorcist. How long was she an exorcist for? We don't know. Um, they say that like the exorcist angels are all sisters, but are they saying sister in the sense of like sisterhood of
Mm-hmm.
like, women as sisterhood, or is it like are they actually sisters? We don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
However, Charlie is an only child. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and we definitely see that she did not have much interaction with other people growing up. So I think she values the relationship so much because she didn't have anything, and she just wants to be friends with everybody, which is not a bad thing. She values friendships and she values connection with people. She is definitely wholehearted. Like when we talk about someone who's wholehearted, who is open of themselves with other people, that's Charlie. She's what you see is what you get with her. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
she's very open, whereas which is very contrasted with literally everybody else in hell.
Yeah.
And so other people don't know how to handle that because they're like, are you serious? Like, because we have to think about the society. Relationships is not also, it's not just like what we want, but it's what are the societal expectations? And what we see in Hazbin Hotel and also in Helluva Boss, definitely to a degree, but more in Hazbin, is that the society that they're in views relationships in a very different way. Granted, we know that like they take place in different levels of hell.
Mm-hmm.
It only takes place in the Pride Ring, um, so that's only where the sinners are.
Wait,
Uh,
wait. Can you imagine if they were able to like combine them
well, I mean,
both?
there's been like a lot of people want there to be crossovers. I would love to see a crossover, uh,
Same.
but we know that like okay, all the sinners are that. So we see everybody in Hazbin Hotel is only in one level of hell. They only interact with each other. They have
Mm-hmm.
different orders, they have different sections, but it's that one level of hell. Whereas in Hell of Boss, there's multiple different levels of hell, and also we have to think about the culture there. Um, the culture of the Pride Ring is like we're just all sinners, and we just like let all the sins out. No concept of like compassion or like helping each other out. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
just out for themselves. Um, we see that in the first episode, in the first song. She's talking about, okay, yes, we have the Cannibal Town, and we have the bukkake shows and everything like that, and the porn studios, and like everyone's just, it's all like self gratification, and so we don't see a lot of like relationships, like interpersonal relationships beyond family. The only family relationships we see is Charlie and Lucifer, and then what's her name, Carmina, and her daughters. We don't really see a lot of other families in Hell there. Not until Hellva Boss do we see actual families, and there's a big difference in the way that the families are. Some families in Hellva Boss are healthier, like Millie's family seems like a pretty healthy family, healthy family dynamic. They're just like, kind of, okay, we accept you as you are, but let's just do these things. And then we have like Moxie's family and Blitz's family, where it's like not good at all. So how do those cultures of those different levels of hell influence interpersonal relationships? I think that's something that's really important to kind of consider.
Well, we were talking about sort of like different types of relationships. It is Valentine's Day, but not everyone is interested in having a romantic relationship, or not everyone is in a romantic relationship. So I also wanted to take some time to talk about other different types of relationships, because we see some really good examples of parenting in Helluva Boss.
Yeah.
We see like the worst and like the best, because then like for Blitz, like his dad like totally sold him for like a wrapper and like some hair or something, like it was crazy. And then again, Stolas was just like basically forced to uphold the family honor or whatever. But then when they both grew up, they're actually trying to be better parents. They're not the best,
No,
but they
they're
are
not.
trying.
They're definitely trying. And we see that. So there's the contrast between adoptive parents and biological parents. Stolas did not choose to have Octavia. He was forced to marry. What's her face?
Yeah, whoever the wife was,
Um,
not important.
my friend's gonna text me. I just know if she's watching this, she's gonna text me and be like, but like he was forced into that relationship. He was forced into that marriage because that's expected of the family, of royalty, of nobility, and everything like that. And he was forced to have an heir. And we see that like for a large portion of Octavia's life, it was kind of like he was there sometimes, but was kind of neglectful because he was caught up in his own issues, that he was trying to escape from his marriage through using Blitz, and he also like would not like pay a lot of attention to Octavia as much. Whereas Blitz, he never got into a marriage or anything like that, but he wanted to be a better father than his father, and he wanted to like be able to like offer a safe space to somebody who didn't have it, because he knew what it was like to not have that. And he went to the shelter, like
It was so weird.
I was like, okay, what's going on here? Like, why is she's just sent, like, what? But he adopted Luna. He saw like this is someone who has suffered, and I want to be able to, if I can give them just even a slightest bit of a better life, then I'm better than my dad. So the reasons why people become parents are different. It's the choices that comes after they have the kids and after they're in the marriages. I will say Blitz, while not a great dad, is better dad than Stolas was. However, Stolas started to realize his his failings and was definitely trying to make amends, but by that point, it was kind of like too little, too late. At least in that last episode that we saw of him and Octavia. Granted, Octavia's also a teenager, and so how many teenagers do you know are able to like understand the perspective of their parents? Not many. And also, Octavia has only ever seen her dad as like kind of just benign. It was like benign neglect. Like she was never like neglected in what she need. She just didn't have that like warmth as much. She had it for a bit. We see flashbacks. We see that there was some warm, comforting father-daughter moments between them.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like, as she was growing up and Stolas was getting caught up in his, I mean, we don't know. I mean, I'm going to say depression because he was literally looking for a bottle of pills that says happy pills. So I'm going to say he had depression, but I cannot diagnose him. I've not assessed him. But he was getting caught up in that, and his version of coping was through this contractual relationship with Blitz that took over his life basically, and he then did kind of,
He just abandoned everything for that relationship. Yeah.
So he recognized it, and that's good. And now, though, he's at the point where he tried to make amends, and it was heartfelt. It was also a little shallow, I will say, in the sense that it was just words. He didn't show it with his actions. So he has potential there, and we don't know what's going to happen because he's like barred from seeing, his daughter for 100 years. How long is a year in hell? We don't know. Maybe it's a lot longer. I don't know, but he definitely is like now stuck with. So there are certain times when people will come to therapy and will actually seek out help. When they recognize it in the middle of the time or at the beginning of their struggles, and they're like, "Hey, I'm going through some tough time. I need help." That's one. Then there are people that are forced by external factors to go to therapy, like children being forced into therapy by their parents because of their behaviors, or adults going to therapy because they're mandated by the court or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have people that they've reached rock bottom and they have they're basically forced by their own choices, by their own actions or inactions. Like, I have nothing else. I'm going to try therapy now. When they think that they've tried everything else. And so what I think is, if we were to consider Stolas' situation, if he were human and not some weird Birdman, he's at the point where he's at rock bottom. He sees no other choice. However, he's at rock bottom and he recognizes why he's there. He's recognizing his errors, which offers hope that if he were to like go into therapy now, yes, it would be a horrible struggle and be really tough and be a lot of hard work for him, but he's recognizing it now. And while Octavia might think it's too little, too late in her perspective, when it comes to therapy, the personal growth is never too late for that. Unfortunately, relationships, it's not just you. There's other people involved, your family, your partner, and they may not want to give you that other chance. However, you can still do the work for yourself, and I think that Stolas I would like to think that Stolas will do the work for himself. I want to believe that.
Eventually, once he learns that that's an okay thing to do, I think right now he's just trying to. He moved. I mean, he did hit rock bottom, and that's when he started realizing that, hey, I hate it here. Like, I'm not happy. Like, my marriage is like, I'm just gonna start doing something else because this isn't working. He was heading in the sort of like the same direction or a similar direction as Lucifer was, right? Like, sort of like isolating from everyone else.
Yeah.
without asking for help. So I think because probably because his daughter was so young, I think that was what helped him, right? Sort of like snap back and be like, oh yeah, I should probably start working on like being a better dad as well, and like as well as other things, sort of like trying to pursue the things that he actually wants, not what he was told.
Yeah.
um but yeah, it's
Well, and then we see how how those things also then relate to the. We see again with Blitz and Stolas and with Moxie and Millie how the family dynamics influence, not dictate, influence their interpersonal relationship. Um, Moxie grew up in a gang family, like literally a mob. Um, uh, but he was also always overlooked. Like he was raised to be this like assassin son of this mob and everything, but he was always overlooked by his dad never like validated him, never accepted him. Uh,
mhm.
and then like the dad's version of trying to like accept his sexuality was to put dildos all over the house and to pimp him out to some weird shark dude. Um, so problematic there. And
Yeah.
so Moxie, the reason why Moxie and Millie's relationship works so well is they're not trying to change the other person. They allow the other person to be. They are themselves, and they find a way to work together and to balance that. One thing a former supervisor of mine said, like when it comes to relationships, people oftentimes think it's like 50, like I give 50% and you give 50%.
Mhm.
Something like that, right? And you're going to meet in the middle, and you're my other half. But it's not a half plus one half. If you're only coming into the relationship with one half of you, then and the other person is only coming in with one half of them, then that's one half times one half. And then what you get out of it is just a quarter. What you need and what we see with Moxie and Millie is they are whole individuals. They are a whole person. They know themselves. They've accepted themselves. And they are joining together with another whole individual. And they've accepted that other whole individual. Um, do they have some struggles? Like, definitely. Like, there was that episode where Moxie was in charge of the mission and he so desperately wanted it to go well. But Millie is just naturally talented and was getting things on her, in a way that was not according to Moxie's plan. And Moxie felt like overlooked by that. And considering his upbringing, we can see how strongly that impacted that. Oh, now my wife is, it's like over,
Mhm.
and but she saw that, and they were able to speak about it and talk about it, and
Immediately, that was the thing. That's what I noticed, that it was like a instant thing.
he felt it, and he told her, "Hey, this is what I'm feeling," and
Mhm.
oh, I can see that. I can see how my behaviors are leading to that. Okay, let's do it your way. And then
Mhm.
they tried it his way and it wasn't working out. And so then he was able to say, okay, my way didn't do it exactly the way I would have wanted. Your way does work. Let's do your way now. And they did, and it worked. Like they have that open communication.
Mhm.
That's what's really important. They are both whole individuals who know themselves and accept the other person, and they talk things out.
I think there was like a scene too where they went on vacation or something, or they were trying to like have alone time, and that's also something that's really important, I would say, especially once you become parents or that relationship has been happening for a while now,
Yeah.
because people tend to forget that.
Yeah. I
And
be alone with your partner after a while.
mhm.
Like you're past the honeymoon stage. It changes things.
Yep, definitely.
So I think, I mean, definitely, again, we're going to go back to those questions. The good, the best relationship, the worst relationships, the ones with the potential. Best relationship by far, Moxie and Millie,
Yeah.
with Vaggie and Charlie coming a close second,
Hmm.
if not like first and a half place, if that's a possibility.
Well, I think probably only because it's, to me it seems like Moxie and Millie have been in a relationship. They're married now, so their relationship has been potentially a lot longer than from Charlie and Vaggie.
Yeah, I think Charlie and Vaggie, it's only been maybe 6 months to a year.
Yeah, yeah.
What we see is that they met after the last exorcism, but the current exorcism was moved up by 6 months. So they've only been together for like 6 months. So they're a very new relationship.
Hmm.
Um, and then adding in Vaggie's whole like afraid of rejection kind of thing, it's a very different story. So definitely they have a lot of potential there. Um, Again, worst relationship, Valentino, Angel Dust, abusive, toxic relationship. No, 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 no. Where does Angel Dust have potential? Angel Dust does have some potential with Husk, if not as a romantic partnership, but as a really good platonic relationship. Angel Dust doesn't have friends. Husk doesn't have friends. Uh,
Hmm.
Nobody in hell has friends. They've got like people that,
Actual friends.
yeah, they don't have that. But that's why I think Husk and Angel Dust work better as like a platonic soulmate kind of thing. Like your soulmate doesn't always have to be a romantic partner. You can have a platonic soulmate, and I think that's what Husk and Angel Dust have.
I think that's what I will want for them, actually.
Yeah, that's my that's what I'm seeing it as. Like I do not see it as romantic or even sexual. Like despite Angel Dust being very like hypersexual and provocative,
Hmm.
their relationship is not sexual. It's banter, and
Yeah.
it's like a friendship kind of thing.
I mean, it could potentially just kind of how I said that. Yes, Stolas and Blitz have a potential to have a really good relationship once they both been to lots and lots of therapy.
Yeah,
I think it's the same with these two characters. Um, but only because I think they both need to have a time where neither of them is in a relationship to
yeah,
like spend time like knowing that it's okay to be on their own
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing before they commit to anything else.
absolutely. And I think that like what's going on with Solus and Blitz though is I don't know if they're going to get that chance because Solus is now living with Blitz, and now Blitz is in a very
I'm in denial. They are perfect, okay?
Blitz is taking care of Solus, which is great. Blitz is now learning how to be like compassionate towards another person in a different way without any contractual like elements there. So, but I don't think they're gonna be separate. They're gonna,
Listen, this is my view of them.
yeah, no, absolutely. I know that that's your view of them. I went with you to get that. Um, but
So I'm just going to live in fantasy land until this happens.
and what I'm saying is that there's a potential for that to happen now that they're starting to realize the way things was not working for them anymore.
Hmm.
It worked until it didn't work.
I think if I've worked with not necessarily couples, but I talked a lot with the individuals that I work with about relationships just in general. And there is always this sense of coulda, shoulda, would have done better, should have noticed all the red flags, back in the day. And I'm like, they all did the best that they could with what they have, right, at the time. And I think that's why I am not necessarily blaming or yeah, Angel Dust
No,
and what's his face?
I'm
Bartender guy.
Husk, I'm not blaming
Has-
either them either. Please do not think that. The only person of Angel Desolation that I'm blaming is Valentino, because Valentino is bad.
Yes.
He gets the blame.
Yes.
But you're right. All of these relationships, the good, the bad, the ugly, the potential, whatever, they're all just doing the best they can given what they know, given
Mm-hmm.
the environments that they're in, given the situations that they are in. Um, that's why I remember I was having this conversation with my friend, the one of the two friends that introduced me to Hazbin and Hellva.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she also loves Stolas and Blitz, like all. And we were talking about like the reason why that episode when Stolas tried to be like, "I love you," like, and you're free and everything to be with
Mm-hmm.
me, didn't work out is because that Blitz only ever knew relationships as give and take, as contractual.
Mm-hmm.
Basically friends with benefits kind of thing. That's all
Yeah.
Blitz knows. Blitz does not know otherwise. And so for Stolas to expect Blitz to just be like, oh, yes, I love you too, and we can have a relationship between the lowest ranked demon, an imp, and
Mm-hmm.
what, second to highest ranked demon? The gorilla, like,
Yeah.
is very naive there. He's very thick. He's very much like Charlie in that way. And Blitz is like, what? How is this going to work? Like, what does this mean? The only other relationship we see where there's an imp and a higher ranked person is Fizzaroli and Asmodeus, and that is actually a really good relationship. I'm glad we got to it at the end. I was when I was going to say it.
I almost forgot about them, but yes,
Yes,
they are actually a good relationship. I mean, the only thing that I saw that was not great is that they're still struggling to be out in the open as like a that they're in a relationship.
that's a society
But
thing.
wait, but do you know why they're like actually a good relationship?
My idea as to why they're a good relationship is that they it's similar to Moxie and Millie in that they've accepted each other for who they are, and they like like Asmodeus, he's like the lust, right? He's the demon of lust. You expect him to only have lustful relationships without romance and without intimate connection.
Mm-hmm.
And Fizzaroli first kind of was like, okay, I will be whatever you want me to be. But
Mm-hmm.
then, which is very similar to Stolas and Blitz in that there was that consensual element.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started to have those relationships, but then they're like, okay, we can still have this fun, and also I'm going to support you to do whatever you want to do.
Yes, and I just wanted to add to that because I think there was like a scene when they were both talking together about sort of like their relationship and something that had happened, and it just seemed that Osmodius was just because he's like stinking old, right? And because he's one of the like the super old
Uh,
demons or something.
he's one of the what do they call them in the show? He's like the seven deadly sins, stuff
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So, and I think because of that, he's had so much experience and he knows because he's the one that's sort of like chill. And then he's like, okay, if it's really like, calm down. This is what we need to talk about. Right. And he's sort of like showing him, like, okay, this is what a good relationship is like because his background is very similar to Blitz, where he didn't really have those sort of like
Yeah.
good
Well,
uh, role models.
yeah, Fizzaroli and Blitz were not biological brothers, but they grew up as brothers. They
Hmm.
worked together. Um, I would argue that uh, Asmodeus's experience was not in like understanding what a healthy relationship is. His entire life up until he met Fizzaroli was just being in charge of. He's the king of the lust ring. He's all about
Mm.
lust and very kinky sex. Uh, and however, though, he wanted more. He wanted to have something more, but he never thought that he was allowed to. He's the person. He's the embodiment of lust.
Mm-hmm.
He's that deadly sin, um, and so uh, there's again the societal expectations, but Fizzaroli never really cared about societal expectations. He never cared that, like, oh, he's an imp and so he's not allowed to be anything. He's not allowed to have a career as a comedian, as a clown or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There, he went for it anyways, and I think Asmodeus sees that and is like, if an imp who is at the bottom can be like, I don't care what the societal expectations are, I'm going to be me, wholeheartedly me. And Asmodeus was like, okay, then I can be that too, which for Asmodeus was, I want to have a committed relationship. We can still be as kinky as whatever, but it's just us. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sharing with anyone. And we see that when Fizzaroli was taken hostage and like Asmodeus was like, I have to do whatever I have to do to get you back. And then when like Fizzaroli was like quitting his job as a Mammon's a clown or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like Asmodeus is, gave him the space to figure it out on his own. He didn't tell him what to do, but then when Fizzaroli made up his mind, Asmodeus was like, I'm here, and you don't have to do whatever you don't want. Yeah. So we ended on a really good relationship.
Yes, I think because I kind of cheated a little bit. I did do a mini presentation for one of the charity streams that I did, and
Uh-huh.
that was one of the relationships that I talked about because although not my favorite because I love my chaotic duo. So in need of therapy. Um,
I'm not saying that Asmodeus and Fizzaroli don't need therapy. They could definitely benefit, but they've done enough personal work that they can have the couple session. Whereas Blitz
and
and Stolas are not ready for the couple session yet.
I think too there is sort of this element of providing sort of like a safe, stable place, right? And Osmodius has that because he's the king and he has all of the things, right? But for example, Blitz, he's always in debt, like he's like needing to work, right? So he is not able to provide something stable. And although Stolas kind of is financially okay, his world is also really toxic. So again, not a good place for
Yeah,
them to sort of like try to figure all these things out.
yeah, absolutely. So like, yes, it's the environment, not only the monetary thing, but the emotional stability. So Blitz did not have any financial or emotional stability in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Stolas had financial stability. He was a prince. He's nobility. He had no emotional stability. He had no emotional security. Sorry, not stability,
Yeah.
security. Security. And so this is something that also you need to consider when it comes to healthy relationships: is where is each person coming from? Because that's going to influence how they're going to engage with the relationship. I'm not saying that people who have no security cannot have healthy relationships. In fact, they can. It's just there's going to be a lot of extra work needing to be done from both parties to be able to have it. Because what we all need as humans, I mean, think about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Uh, the basic needs to be met first, the physical needs,
Mm-hmm.
and only then can we get into like emotional, interpersonal, and self-actualization, everything. So for right now, though, at the very end of season 2 of Hellva, Stolas is homeless. He's broke. He's he doesn't have his magic. He has no security. His whole world has been shattered. And so what
Mm-hmm.
though, what we see is that Blitz is not trying to get them back together to be in a relationship. Blitz is just trying to offer some kind of security. Here's some food. Here's a blanket. Like,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
That's why I love it so much.
And that's why there's a lot of potential there, is because now there's potential. Before, not much.
Oh, what I would love to do actually, if you're down for this.
Yeah.
Um, I will really like to do, because my sibling and I were doing a like every arc of One Piece that I read, we do sort of like a brief, like what are the things that I noticed, like my impressions and like some of the mental health things that I noticed. I would be very, very happy to take this like 2 or 3 episodes at a time and then just talk about those 3 episodes, because there is so much content. Because like we set out to talk just about romantic relationships, but we couldn't because there was so much we wanted to talk about. So if you guys are interested in us doing this, let us know in the comment in the comments, so we know that there are other people that also want to geek out about this, because I'm like, I need to talk to someone about these things. That's why I was like, Ben, because I think you're the only other person. I've tried to convince like my sibling to watch them with me, and he said like, yeah, it's cool, but it's just not his vibe. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I need someone.
I also tried to get my brother to watch it, and he watched Helluva Boss, and like he liked Helluva Boss, and because he did the Helluva Boss panel with us at LA Comic Con, and I
Mhm.
think he also did Hazbin with us too at Comic Con. But like he was never as into it as I was.
Yeah, I know.
I my friend so my friend who got me into Helluva Boss, she has lots of opinions about the relationships and stuff like that. And like after every like new episode, we would like call each other and be like, "Okay, what's going on here?" Um, that after that episode where like Stolas like got banished and everything like that. Oh god, that was a hard one.
I think like I said, I'm living in this sort of like fantasy world where they are just like a happy couple. But I would love to see it again, because I I
Yeah.
was really busy, so I ended up just sort of like binging all of it, and I was like, okay, I just have to like try to remember some of the things for the panel. But if we do it like a few episodes at a time, that will give me more time to like slowly watch and enjoy and notice all of the things that are happening, because there's
Let's do it.
yeah,
We,
it is
we
very
could make
good.
a whole. We could do like a whole series of just a like reflection and review of the Helliverse, of
Mm,
both series and everything like that.
yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm totally down for that. Any chance to talk about these things is I will take. So
Yes, as we wait for like the next season of Helluva Boss. I mean, not Helluva Boss.
both of them.
Has been Hotel.
Hasbin will have a new season, and Helva Boss will have a new season too.
Yes.
There's going to be new stuff coming out. We all gotta get ready.
I um I prefer to binge watch, because then I just cannot wait for the next episode. And if I have to wait for the next episode, I start binge watching something else, and then like I totally forget about that one thing. So I usually just like wait until the whole season is out, and then I can like just watch all of it at my own pace.
Yeah.
But yes, I will be definitely be interested in doing this with you. Be so interesting. And so unfortunately, I do have to go. Otherwise, I was prepared to be here for at least 2 hours so we can talk more. But I am in charge of a nonprofit, so I have to go and do stuff outside, which I guess it's good,
You
because then I
gotta,
have to
you
touch
gotta
grass now.
rep our organization now. Go
Yes.
bring
So
geekiness to the world.
Yeah, we have to go do some fundraising outside in the cold.
Yeah,
Thankfully, I don't think it's raining anymore, because it was raining yesterday, and so I was quite concerned about that. But yes, I do have to go. But yeah, I really do want to do this. So just let us know in the comments, who do you think has the best relationship, your favorite relationship, and the worst relationship? Because you might have a different view than us, and that's okay. Just let us know. State all your sources and everything. Attach your single space 5-page essay, which, to be honest, like, I'm so in love with these like shows that I will read them. I
yeah.
will read them if you
Any
submit this.
if any of the viewers have really great fan fictions that you recommend us to read, please do plug those in the comments. My friend, the same friend I keep mentioning, she keeps sending me fanfics of Stolas and Blitz and everything. I would like to read some
I
other
w-
things.
I need those. You need to
Send,
forward them to me.
some, Harley fan fictions, some Husk Angel Dust fan fictions. Send me all the fanfics, please.
Um, Especially the fix it ones, where they both go to therapy and have a healthy relationship. Those are my favorites.
Maybe you and I will just write a fan fiction of how to go to therapy.
Maybe we could do like a thing where we talk about, like, if we were to see a specific character in a session,
That would
what
be
would we?
really cool. Like what would like we could do like a role play kind of thing where one person pretends to be the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like a
Well, actually, I think I did send you. I wanted to do that, but I wanted to do it with villains.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Um.
yes.
Wait, but that's
We
wait.
can do
Remind me of that, because yeah, I want to get that started already, but I
yeah,
kind of keep forgetting.
absolutely. Yes, let's do that. And we can still do this one too. It's all good.
Yes, definitely. Just do all of the things.
I mean the whole point of Hazbin Hotel is redemption for sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Let's show that these sinners can be redeemed.
Yes, exactly. And just like Lucifer, we say take that depression. So I hope this video brought you some understanding of healthy relationships, and you were able to geek out with us. And again, any we do read the comments, and I am more than happy to geek out with you about it. We also have a Discord, which I should be on the description of this video, or on our website if you're watching live right now. But yes, there is a space there to be able to write or like upload your 5-page single space, you know, point 0.5 margin, say on things, so other people can read it, because we all need a space to like vent and talk about our favorite things. And um it's just so much better when there's someone else that's like, no way, you too, so it's so much better. So come on, join our Discord, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, because we are going to be doing so many more cool things. And now that Ben is here and he is part of the board, we are going to put him to work. So there will be tons of videos that we will be releasing quite soon. So yeah. And with that,
Where
don't
where
what?
can people find Psychology for Geeks?
Oh yeah, that's true. So we are well, all of the details and information you can find on our website, psychologyforgeeks.com. And you can also check out our socials at Psych for Geeks. We're pretty much in every platform under the same name. So yeah, whatever it is that you prefer, come on, find us. And we do geek out about things, all the geeky things that we are into. And we talk about mental health and all of the online, because we are doing also a lot of like online workshops. Some of them are free, some of them are not, but we are starting to do a lot more for our online and in-person communities. So definitely come and check us out. And like I said, don't forget to subscribe to our to our YouTube channel, and like this video and comment, because that's really helpful.
And if you want to nerd out with us in person, uh, I know that. So while I cannot say the specific information about the panel that I will be doing, I will be at WonderCon in Anaheim, March 28th through the 30th. I will be on a couple different panels there. Uh, because this official schedule hasn't been released yet, I'm not allowed to say the specific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if any of our viewers will be at WonderCon, keep an eye out for me there. Maybe one of the days I'll wear the shirt so people can find me. Uh, but aren't you going to be repping Psychology for Geeks at another convention?
Oh yes, I almost forgot. I am doing a lot of conventions actually. I unfortunately cannot be at WonderCon, even though I did want to, because there is one panel I actually did want to go to, and I was like, this time I will catch up. But I cannot because at the same time I will be at Anime Las Vegas. So come and check us out there. We will have a booth. No, no panel, but we do have a booth. So come and geek out with us.
So there's plenty of ways to find us, and just give us a high five. We will be your best friends forever.
Especially if you say that you also really like Solace and Blitz.
Well, you know
You
what?
will
We'll
become
still
my best friend.
love you, even if you don't love Stolas and Blitz. Or at least I will.
Yeah. But if you do, you can just pretend just to make me feel better.
Make Elizabeth better and tell her that Stolas and Blitz are perfect together. That they have no
Yes.
issues whatsoever. There's no
And
problem
like
talking.
happily living together. That's what I would like to see. Okay, I really do have to go. So thank you so much for joining us today. Um, I mean, if you were not able to stay for like the whole thing, well, I think there's like one person watching right now. There was like some people coming in and out, but this video is gonna be on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch if you want to watch the whole thing. So again, thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Ven, for making time today to geek out with me. And we will see you guys on the next video. And don't forget to reframe and re-enchant your life. Bye.
Bye.